Hi friends, would you like your Garchomp to have a few more moments like this and a few less moments like this? What happened? I used my Unite move, I missed everything, Cinderace got us both, plus I have body image issues. Today is awful. I hate Garchomp. Well, in this guide, I will help you go from 0 to hopefully hero with Garchomp. I haven't spent more time on a guide with any Pokemon than I have with Garchomp. I find Garchomp to be incredible and also terrible at times. The issue with Garchomp is he really becomes great when he's Garchomp. But before he's Garchomp, he is nothing to write home about. So come along with me, friends. Let's talk about Garchomp. The best moves to put on him, the best held items to use. Let's talk about being a little more body positive and going to the pool with our shirts off, all in this Garchomp Best Build Guide. Garchomp is a melee all-rounder with a difficulty rating of intermediate, which I would happen to disagree with. I think this is a very advanced Pokemon. Sure, the idea behind it is basic, which is you just keep spamming your attacks and you go faster and faster and faster and take out everyone. Great. Easy, right? I disagree. I think you have to be very deliberate with Garchomp. As you can see the progression of Garchomp here from Gible to Gabite to Garchomp at level 10. At level 10, Garchomp is very legit. At level 6, it's kinda there, and level 8, much better, but level 10 is when Garchomp becomes Garchomp. Literally and in spirit. Let's chalk. Oh, this isn't starting out well. Let's talk about Garchomp's first two moves, Bulldoze and Sand Attack. Depending on where you go, I think you can pick a different move. If you're in the jungle, I would start with Sand Attack. If you're going in the lane, I would start with Bulldoze. You get each move relatively quickly, obviously, but I think Sand Attack is the better move here. Not only does it obstruct their vision, it also decreases an opposing Pokemon's movement speed, and it increases your movement speed in basic attack. This is how you get early sneaky KO. And given that we're already talking about what Garchomp does best, that scaling insane attack speed, let's head on over and talk about how Garchomp's basic attacks work. So that moment when Garchomp is destroying an entire team and you're thinking, what happened? How did it turn on? It is Garchomp's basic attack. Imagine Garchomp's basic attack is a very old lawnmower and you've got to pull it 5 times or so, but once it starts going, it's like... I am available to do sound effects at parties, but I am not cheap because I am very good. Not only do basic attacks start to rev up your basic attack combo faster, but your abilities do as well. So hitting someone with Sand Attack or any other Garchomp ability gives you a stack of this attack speed, including Garchomp's Unite move. Basically, after your 5th attack, you are going crazy with basic attacks. But before then, you're quite slow. This is why I said earlier that you actually are pretty deliberate with Garchomp. But once you get going, oh man, you get going. Every 5th attack also deals increased damage and gives you lifesteal, which is why Garchomp seems to live forever. Garchomp is also really fascinating because I think as he progresses, every single move he has is good for different reasons. Let's talk about Dig first. You get Dig as a possibility or Dragon Rush at level 6. Dig has you burrow underground and quickly dash towards a designated destination. Now, one thing to note, when you're underground briefly, you are invincible. You pop out when you come in contact with an opposing Pokemon or when you've gone its maximum distance. The jump deals damage to Pokemon in the area and throws them. A couple key really important things here. The brief moment of invincibility is pretty amazing. Popping out and knocking the opponents up is also extremely useful. However, coming into contact with anyone and it stopping your dash makes this a very poor escape at times, which is why I usually run Dig if I'm in the jungle. In lane, I often prefer Dragon Rush, and I kind of prefer Dragon Rush late game anyway, but let's talk about Dragon Rush. Dragon Rush has Garchomp hop back and then dive forward, pushing Pokemon. Shoving, I guess, is the term they use in this game. It shoves them. I wasn't pushing him, I was shoving him. That's a character I'm working on. He's a guy who always does something bad, and then when you call him on it, he says he was doing something with the same name but different, so you're like, hey, you're lying. He goes, hey, I'm fibbing. Anyway, it's a work in progress. I've found this move to be a lifesaver. I have won games because of this move. I have saved the team because of this move. Being able to control the battlefield is so important and extremely underrated at times when you just look at things and think, oh, this move does more damage or whatever. Being able to push someone off a goal with a few seconds left, making it sure they can't score an extra 100 points, it's pretty huge. It can also combo with Dragon Claw. It's actually a little tricky. You just have to use Dragon Rush and then immediately hit Dragon Claw, and the way you charge looks a little different. You spin around, and you end up hitting them 3 times in that one dash. Oh, and I should mention the upgrade for both moves. Dragon Rush, when you upgrade it, you decrease movement speed of Pokemon that you shove if you shove them the maximum amount. And Dig actually has a great ability where you take less damage for a short time after you use Dig. I think both moves have their uses. I like Dig in the jungle because it's better for ganking. However, I think Dragon Rush is better for some of the objectives you fight over. So they're both really good choices. Now onto your next move, either Earthquake or Dragon Claw. Earthquake is basically Bulldoze's older, hotter brother who looks great with his shirt off. We get it. You're hot, Chad. This move does strong damage and an area effect, and it actually ripples a few times. And each one of those, you guessed it, powers up your basic attack. My favorite part about Earthquake is that it gives you multiple chances in an area to power up that basic, and that's all you want with this Pokemon, to have that basic going crazy. Now on to Dragon Claw. The user attacks twice in front of them, dealing damage with your big old claws. The first attack deals damage to the Pokemon and throws them, and the second attack deals increased damage. This is the important part for me. After the move ends, your basic attack speed is increased for a short time. Which, you know, is kind of a big deal because it's like Garchomp's whole friggin' thing. So it feels like, too good. Your attack speed is increased? Are you kidding me? Again, this just gives you more options to get your attack speed revved up to max. And again, having the ability to move people around the battlefield, which you do a bit with Dragon Claw, is pretty amazing. The interesting thing about both these moves is I don't think you can make a real bad choice here. Moving on to the Unite move, Livid Outrage, you unleash a powerful chain attack while dashing forward. The final attack throws the opposing Pokemon, but also leaves the user unable to act for a short time. And when they say a short time, it really is a short time. You're able to act pretty quickly. And if you nail a few people with it, your attack is really powered up once you're done with it. So it's great to start team fights. It's kind of great to end team fights. It's great for a lot of situations. The only thing I would say is that you just want to play around with it for a little while so you know what's going to happen when you cast it. Head into practice mode, mess around with it. Just make sure you don't get into a big fight and start spinning your sticks around wildly and miss every single one of your Unite attacks because, you know, it happens. On to Garchomp's passive, Rough Skin. When the Pokemon is struck by a melee attack, a portion of the damage received is reflected back at the attacker. This is amazing, and it's the reason you want to go toe-to-toe with all the melee Pokemon if you can. Who are the melee Pokemon, you ask? Just all the Pokemon who are not attacking at range. So, you know, Absol and Snorlax and Lucario, you get it. You just think about it for 1 second. If they're punching, they're melee. If they're swunchin', well, that's not a word, friend. It's battle items time. As you know, battle items, I say, is really up to personal preference, but I think eject button is the best item by far. I would recommend it essentially for anyone. I can't think of many people I wouldn't. If you watch my videos, you know that the battle items section is question time. So please respond in the comments. I'm curious, what is everyone's ranked rank? Boy, could have worded that better. Held item time. There are a lot of great options for Garchomp, and depending where I'm going, I might change it up a bit, but here are a few that I always love. Muscle Band, I think, is amazing. You're doing tons of basic attacks, and this just chunks away HP. It also gives you attack speed. I feel like this is a must for Garchomp. It's so good. Buddy Barrier, in my opinion, is the most important item in the game. It helps you win the biggest team fights in the end, so I put it on almost every Pokemon. Not every single one, but almost every single one. Plus, it gives you some more HP. For your third option, I actually think there are a lot of different choices. For a little while, I was trying to run a focus band, which is actually pretty nice because it gives you enough time to make sure that your attack is all revved up when your HP starts recovering. But from time to time, you just get chunked down anyway by big blasts of enemy attacks, so I don't know if this is the absolute best, but I did have some fun with it. An upgraded scope lens is an incredible option, increasing your critical hit rate and the damage you do with crits. Yeah, I mean, it's great. You could swap the scope lens for this float stone here, but I just wanted to pull it up. It feels especially important in the jungle to run a float stone, but in general, increased attack and movement speed on Garchomp is always going to be good no matter where you put him. I like an assault vest also because it just gives you that little shield from time to time, which is really nice. But looking at this setup here, I would swap it with a buddy barrier and probably do a float stone. I have tried running a shell bell and it's not terrible, but it just wasn't giving me what I wanted. I love shell bell on special attackers though. Of course, I would like to try a Rocky helmet or something like that, but I have not upgraded those items because there's only so many upgrade tokens. So as far as a best build goes, I actually have two recommendations, I think. When I'm in lane, I prefer Dragon Claw and Dragon Rush. I could do Dragon Rush and Earthquake as well. But my thought process here is I want to be able to push people around, and especially at the end of the game, I just find it so useful. So I lean Dragon Rush as my dash move. Obviously, the most important thing with Garchomp is that basic attack. I mean, you can solo a Dreadnought, Zapdos, Rotom, any other Pokemon basically, as long as they're not CCing you and stopping you or they're a much higher level. When I play Dragon Claw, Dragon Rush, usually my thought is I like to engage either with the full Dragon Claw, Dragon Rush combo, or I use Rush to position the enemy where I want, push them back into my team, and then continue to use Claw to move them further and further where I want them to go. Usually I like to get behind them and then shove them towards the group. When I'm jungling, on the other hand, I usually go Earthquake and then either Dig or Dragon Rush. Lately, it's been more Dragon Rush, but I think Dig just feels like a jungling, ganking move. Here you can see me soloing a Dreadnought. One of the best things about Garchomp is his ability to take down these neutral objectives by himself if necessary. And I swear to you, the team that gets more Dreadnoughts usually wins. Usually. We all know what happens with Zapdos. One good strategy I found with Garchomp is finding ways to ramp up his attack before you're actually dealing with enemy Pokemon. So it drops off pretty fast. You have to time it right, but if you're attacking a neutral creep and you're in lane and the enemies are near, you could have already ramped your attack way up and then just turn your focus onto whatever little Charmander is near you. Even though Garchomp has dashes, one of the toughest things I found to do with Garchomp is actually chase someone down. If you absolutely have to do it, you can use your Unite move. I wouldn't say it's the best thing to do, but it is an option, especially if you're near the end of the game. So for my final thoughts on Garchomp, I think Dragon Claw and Dragon Rush are his best combination, just because of how important the end of the game is. Garchomp is a crazy, crazy Pokemon because, boy, he feels useless for a long time, and then all of a sudden he's an absolute monster. If you're gonna play Garchomp, you need to be fed. You need to level up. You need to turn into Garchomp before you can really become an absolute beast in this game. So make sure you're taking those wild Pokemon. Jungle if you can. Garchomp is a really amazing Pokemon. And then the other half of the time, Garchomp is an absolute disaster. What happened? Why didn't I do anything good with Garchomp? Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. I will see you all next time. And no, I'm not going to take my shirt off at the pool because friggin' Chad's going to be there with his friggin' hot pecs. Bye.